Hi guys, today we're going to talk about something really interesting and exciting for me. We're going to talk about DIY climbing sticks or homemade climbing sticks. Now there's a ton of stuff on the market and they're getting lighter and better every time, but I'm going to show you this build, which I'm pretty excited to show you. And before I start, just remember this is all at your own risk. You're responsible for the materials, the build, and how you use this stuff. Alright, let's get down to business. So here's all three of my sticks together. Neat, small, compact little package. Does not rattle, does not make noise. I use 1/8 inch M steel as my daisy chains, and there's a ton of videos on, you can learn how to make that, and really easy put together, really easy separated. I can hang one of these on each side of my saddle. And if you don't like hanging stuff off your saddle, you can make a sling out of the same daisy chain rope. Now one thing I really recommend, apart from the am steel, is that you use hair ties, because it just makes things a breeze and a lot easier to keep tight and put away. So here's my sling. Now I can just sling this over my neck, and that way I'm dealing with stuff up here and not with stuff down there, and it just depends on how you want to use your components and stuff. So that's an idea for you. It's really easy to pull apart, no biggie. Now together they weigh under 5 pounds, and I'll show you a picture of that weight. And by itself it weighs 1.6 something with the daisy chain and all that, and I'll show a picture of that weight also. I'm going to give you a quick close-up so you can see how this is put together and kind of welded. You can see that each leg, one leg will go on top of the other, but I've welded all the way around each step or bar. Make sure it's a solid weld. These are cut at 45 degrees so that when it goes up against the tree it has a more stable platform. And you can see that I've tack welded bits and pieces, done some little tack welding on here to give it grip. And you can decide how much grip you want to give it, but this is more than enough for what I'm doing. And all the times that I've been up, I have not felt like my foot is slipping or any of that stuff. So what I like about this is, like I said, each stick is very neatly made. It's very compact, no rattle, no loose stuff, and very simple. So I'm going to show you a picture of a needs list with the tools and the materials. I'm just going to go through them quickly now, but I'll have a picture which you can keep on referring back to and pretty much pausing the video so you can see what you need. But basic tools, definitely going to need a drill press. I would definitely recommend the drill press to make the holes in your aluminum tubing and keep everything nice and straight, so that way when you put this together you don't have these crazy angles or stuff. Just you don't want to hand drill this stuff. It's not going to work out very well. So drill press. Definitely need the MIG welder to weld the stuff together, or weld the steel pieces together. And the other thing that I can definitely recommend is a miter saw to cut your aluminum tubing. Just go slow on the miter saw, and you won't have any problems. And you can use a basic miter saw that you use for cutting your 2x4. You don't have to change the blade, that kind of stuff. Now this all cost me between $60 and $80, and I say roundabout because I had quite a few of the materials, so it's tough for me to guesstimate what they cost. I did have to order the aluminum tubing, or square tubing, because this is 1/8 inch thick, so it has to be 1/8 inch. If you use anything lighter, this will buckle or bend, and I do not recommend it. So if you want to use thicker stuff, that's entirely up to you, and that's what's cool about DIY. You can build it how you see fit, and you're responsible, like I said, for everything you do. 1-inch perforated steel. I think this is galvanized steel. It's steel, weldable. So this is 1 inch. The square tubing, aluminum square tubing, is 3/4 inches. And the angle iron is 1/2 inch by 1/8 inch thick. I used Rust-Oleum primer. You can go directly on rust, and I like that idea because if this forms any rust, I can just spray it. Or if you're starting to see any bare metal, you can just spray it, and you can pick a color. There's red, there's gray. That's all up to you. One thing that's definitely important was the camouflage duct tape. You're going to need that to wrap your aluminum, and actually your Versa button and the nut on the back, just to make it more camouflage. I used 1/4 inch bolts. I couldn't tell you what the thread is, and I don't think it really matters, but you really want nice thick threading. That way it can handle more torque. I might be wrong on that one too, but that's up to you. The other thing that I find very important is the aluminum, the nylon bushing to protect your am steel or whatever you use to, tie this to a tree, your strap. That way it won't cut it or chafe it. And you can decide if you want 1 inch or 1/2 inch like I used over here. Now on the Versa button itself, I used a 1 inch by 1/4 inch hole washer as my Versa button. And you can decide on that too. Just remember, the bigger stiff stuff is, and the more you add to it, the more it's going to weigh. So this is so that you can make a lighter, more convenient stick for yourself, but something that's more catered to you. So I'm just going to give you basic lengths on what I used for my stick. So the steps, the whole bar is 8 inch long. The legs are 3 inches. So in total it gives me about a 4.5 inch, retreat or distance from the tree. When you include the perforated steel and all that. You can make these a little bit longer, you can make these a little bit shorter, whatever makes, we're all different sizes and stuff, so you might want a little bit longer to accommodate your foot, your boot better. Also, the other thing is this angle. You can decide on whether you want it wider, more narrow. The wider, more stable, more narrow, a little less stable, but those are all things that you can fiddle with and figure out on your own as you're building it. Or you can test one, and if you don't like it, scrap it, make another. The aluminum tubing is 13.5 inches long, and the reason that I decided for that length is I wanted exactly just a foot between my steps, and I just wanted to leave about an inch on the top to hang my aider, my 4-step aiders, or if I wanted to hang anything on the stick. So that's my stick, and the reason why I only keep it this length is because I don't need any more. When you use aiders, everything below this point becomes redundant. That's what a 4-step aider is for, is to get you up on top of this stick. So, there's people that use kind of like a one-step, one-step stick, nothing, which is also the platform and an aider and stuff like that. So, and they'll do one sticking, and this, by the way, is probably a very good, stick for one sticking also. It's pretty light and pretty compact. So that's another thing I'm going to be trying out in the future, but for now I'm good with the way things are functioning. So I'm going to talk quickly about my aiders also. So in the winter I tend to use this motorless 4-step aider, and the reason why I like using this one, it's easier to basically get in and out of, especially with my boot. In the winter I use insulated boots, and they're thicker, and with the other aider I tend to battle, whereas with that one I don't. So that's one of the aiders I use as to start going into winter. In the warmer temperature, or the beginning of the season, I like to use this 4-step aider that I made also out of am steel, 1/8 inch am steel. And as you can tell, it's really compact. You can really light also. Nothing really beats it, and it's pretty easy to carry around. Very simple, nothing to it. The one thing is that when you put pressure on your last step, it will wrap around your shoe or your boot, and it makes it really tough to get that boot out. And it's normally going up that it becomes a little bit of a problem, or coming down that it becomes a bit of a problem. So it just, when you're going down, because you have one foot here and then you have the next foot there, and all that pressure, from this boot here will basically tighten that one. So when you're going down, you have to, like I have to grab it with one hand and make that loop wider so I can get my foot out. That's the only problem. Going up, it's a breeze and it's super light. And when I get up there, I basically, wrap this up again and put it in the same pouch as my linesman rope, and we're done. It's really, light and compact. So I hope this video helped you to make a decision on whether you want to make your own climbing sticks. I had a blast making them. It did take some time, but an hour here, an hour there, they all got put together. Now the one thing that you're going to notice is that when you do put these components together, you're going to have a little bit of a rattle, or there's going to be some play, especially since this is 3/4 and this is 1 inch. Now to get rid of that play, this is what I did. After I wrapped my tube with the duct tape, and I went lengthwise strips to cover that, I wrapped this twice on each end and got a snug fit for my perforated steel. But still you'll get play. So when you tighten these down, you're going to have to tighten these really, really snug. And if you feel any play, tighten them even more. This will bend and clamp the aluminum tubing. And that's what you want for a robust step that is well made. So that way it gives you confidence when you're climbing up the step and you don't feel it move on you. So anyway, I hope this gives you an idea to build your own sticks. I hope you liked this video. I hope it helped you in some way. If there's any questions, comments, please make them. And go out, saddle hunt, and be safe. And thank you very much.